Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
Will vary. Tell them that the Rook sent you. Metafast Weight Control Centers.
Now, live from the TCL broadcast studios, it's Joe Souchere and Patrick Royce with Sports Talk.
I was grousing earlier.
Well, no, I can't believe it.
Mm-hmm. You've never groused, have you?
I love that word, grouse, by the way, and not just the ones you shoot. I love it as an action, an action verb.
I know this isn't new; it's been a trend. But tomorrow, the Class 4A games begin at 10 a.m.
Yes, yeah, I've been whining about that. A couple of years ago, we had basically Hopkins and Apple Valley playing each other at 10 o'clock in the morning when you had Tyus Jones and a great Hopkins team. Mm-hmm. They're idiots, but what can you do about it? They're morons.
What is their rationale?
They want to do everything. Their rationale is if they're going to be mostly metro schools, so they don't have to they don't have to pay for them to be in town on Tuesday night, and B, we have to give the smaller schools their time in the spotlight in the afternoon, and the late night games too. So that's one reason they do that. So they play those games on Wednesday, and then Thursday. I don't know. It drives me crazy. Here's what I've always said about we have to give the little schools their chance. We need 4 classes because we have to give the little schools their chances. Mm-hmm. You know what chance you get in a little school? You get to play.
Yep.
If you go to Edina or Eden Prairie or someplace like that, the odds are you're going to be some stumble bum on the third team. You're not, maybe 1 or 2 kids, but you get to play if you're in some hillbilly school with 35 students in the senior class, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah.
That's a great big advantage. Mm-hmm. So who cares if you make it to the state tournament or not? You got to play.
Well, to me, I've been grousing for years. When they went to 2 classes in hockey, they ruined it. And they went to 4 classes in basketball, they ruined it. But that horse is so far left the barn.
Oh, that's nothing to do with it. But, yeah, you could at least schedule it for optimum attention if you wanted to. But, if you have Apple Valley and Hopkins, when they were both really good, playing at 8 o'clock on Thursday night, mm-hmm. you get some people there.
Right.
You got them playing at 10 a.m. Wednesday. People don't even know the tournament started yet.
Right.
So you get 3 busloads from each school, and that's it.
And as Reuvers pointed out, you got that Cretan kid, Oturio.
Yeah, right, Arturo. What time's he playing?
10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
10 o'clock tomorrow morning. You're idiots. Yeah. You're idiots.
Well, the kids like to get out of school anyway.
Yeah, but that's the only people who'll be there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, the thing is, this year you got a bunch of Gopher recruits, and
including this Oturio.
You got the other Jones kid playing.
Mm-hmm.
They got the other Jones kid. I don't know why they do that, but it's all about saving $12 so they don't have to. If a kid from I don't know what Battle Lake. Comes in town, you don't have to put them in the hotel room on Tuesday. You only have to put them in the hotel room on Wednesday. So, you save the money of if you should have the 1As playing first, the 1As and the 2As playing the first day, but you don't want to have to pay for the hotel rooms.
But remember that the high school league doesn't play; they don't pay for the hotel rooms. That's
yes,
all
they do. They cover that.
No. Well, whenever we always get a bill when the last 2 years for the hockey, we've got a bill.
Oh, maybe they changed it.
I think they must have changed that because, at least for hockey anyway.
Or maybe just you got a bill.
Right, maybe just I got a bill. That could be.
Maybe the Metro teams aren't supposed to stay in hotels. They're supposed to drive in. And
why wouldn't they just stay at home, the Metro teams?
Keeping tabs on students, I guess. I'm not sure.
Well, you're supposed to keep the tabs.
Yeah.
Well,
you keep the tabs.
When my daughter was in the hockey tournament the last 2 years, I didn't see her from Wednesday until Saturday.
That's silly. Maybe it's the Metro thing. Maybe that's. I think if you come in from the hinterlands, they pay for it. Anyway.
Cretin, Durham, Hall, Wayzata, 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Way to go. Good scheduling, you dummies.
Eden Prairie and Osseo, no earlier than noon. Apple Valley and Forest Lake, no earlier than 2. Lakeville North and Maple Grove, no earlier than 4.
Okay, so we get them. So we get those out of the way, and then we can get some other people in here and start playing.
No ball game down there today, huh?
No, off day, and we're supposed to get a big old thunderstorm here within an hour. The wind's been blowing all day. There been some clouds. It's kind of humid, but I haven't. Right now, the sun's actually out.
Oh,
I got
like
a question for you.
Yeah.
What college were you referring to where we can't? What women's college you can no longer call them women?
Mount Holyoke.
Oh, where's that at? In Massachusetts.
Yep.
Okay. Now, can you call them lasses or gals?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
I like lasses.
Not unless you have an accent.
I use lasses on Twitter a lot because I know it's going to offend people.
No, they don't want to be disrespectful to any gender, so they're no longer to be known as women.
Yeah, but
you're preaching to the choir there, big boy.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I'm confused.
Well, join the club.
Yeah,
You heard what Holy Cross did today.
Who'd we beat?
Oh no, they're going to get rid of their knight. And maybe their name, the Crusaders, because it's too evocative of what Christians did to non-Christians 1,000 years ago.
Okay. All righty. And
Man, I'll have you voting conservative in no time.
How about the guy? How about Kaufman? We went back and looked at Kaufman's record, and
that's an interesting one.
Found out there was anti-Semitism around then, and
right. But that's an interesting one because he did violate the norms of his day, unlike John Calhoun, who did not.
Yeah. Okay.
So you could make the argument that instead of Kaufman, you could have found somebody more credible to name that building after.
But it's 50 years now. It's been Kaufman. It was when I went to school. There was Kaufman.
It's not 50 years, more like 75 or 80.
Yeah, well, it was Kaufman when I went to school.
Are you in favor of Patrick Henry losing Patrick Henry?
What happened there?
Well, Patrick Henry was a slave owner, so that name's got to go. Even though he wrote founding father, by the way, and he wrote that he was opposed to slavery. He didn't really have a plan to end it, but he was not a big fan of slavery.
Plus, if it wasn't for him, we'd all be speaking British. Mm-hmm. we'd all be
calling them lasses.
We'd all have bad teeth. We'd all be having big parties because some German is getting married to a good-looking gal from the United States. Some old Habsburg is getting married. We'd all have to have big wedding parties if it wasn't for Patrick Henry. For
give me liberty or give me death.
Right. Yeah, that's okay. All right. Well, geez, it is.
Pat?
What?
No.
Hail the Flashlight King.
Hail you.
Yeah, I was just realizing again just how bad government is at business. If they'd book the high school basketball games that had some marquee value, they'd probably make up more than enough in admission to pay to put the kids up in a hotel.
Yeah, you're right.
That's how they think.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
They're worried about, you know what it is? They're just, remember when the girls sued to play high school hockey in
Excel Energy Center. Yeah.
Because they had to have the experience.
So then they can play with 2,000 people there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Rook's probably in favor of Excel Energy Center. So
I don't think he would have minded where they played.
I don't have a cart in the horse of the game anymore.
No.
But the great thing about Ritter was it is a place that is built to celebrate women's hockey.
Right.
Ritter Arena, watching the games that I did watch there,
yes.
It's a beautiful place, and you can get right into it, and that's the perfect place for girls hockey, high school hockey.
Pat, let's face it, our time is
Yes, it is.
pretty much used up.
Although my last Ritter experience wasn't too good.
Oh, yeah?
Went over there to see the granddaughter play between periods,
Uh-oh.
okay?
Yeah.
They put 25 kids out on the ice and had them chase a puck for 3 minutes. And to get called that a promotion, they just wanted to get us saps, us grandparents and parents, to buy tickets, and they didn't even let them skate.
Works every time, doesn't
They
it?
had 25 people chasing a puck.
Why, it's an outrage.
It was. I want my $10 back. Oh, I got in with a pass, but I want my $10 back anyway.
I got in for free, but I'm
But
still
I want my
outraged.
money back.
I had to pay to park. $10 to park.
All right, just a minute. The Wild had an interesting night, Patrick.
But first, rookie, you're right. Wilmer Athletics has reported in on Twitter they do not pay for hotels. They might reimburse you something if they make any money. Of course, they aren't going to make any money because the idiots schedule 4A games on Wednesday morning and afternoon. So you're right. They used to, but I guess they don't. I guess you're all on your own now. Maybe the excuse now is the smaller schools don't have the budget to stay down here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so they save them one day.
Who makes this decision? The board?
The Minnesota State High School League Board of Directors.
Well, they are idiots. That's
And
for
they got
sure.
they got. We used to say there was a lot of men there and a few women, but now they're all mingled up, and we don't even know. They're just all.
They're
same
all
sex.
just people.
They're all just people. Yeah, that's right. What are we going to do in the paper if we no longer can say boys basketball and girls basketball? If you're going to run the basketball scores on the Agate page,
Yeah,
what do you do?
it's a good point.
You got to run them all?
I guess.
Maybe just a headline, you figure it out, and then just post the scores.
So there's no descriptors allowed at all. Lady, female.
At Mount Holyoke College, Kenny, they have decided that, which is an all-women school,
Right.
the word women cannot be used.
Yeah. I've got a couple of lines here.
No, let's not. Maybe I should just kill your mic here.
Hey, Rook,
I'll save them for off the
Yeah,
air.
please.
Kenny, Joe, I do have something good for you today, though. Brighten your day.
All right.
Bob Nightingale from USA Today, baseball writer, good friend of mine.
Not the old
Crazy.
Bob Nightingale I knew from Chicago.
Oh, yeah. No, that was Dave Nightingale.
Dave Nightingale.
You knew Dave.
I knew Dave.
This is Bob Nightingale.
All right.
Bob's a tried and true wildmaniac. And
Yep.
should never be allowed to drive out there. But anyway, he got a piece. He's in Arizona at spring training. He's got a piece on Gordy Lackey, who's a trout scout, I think, with Toronto now, and he's a legendary scout, 73 years old. Had been in Arizona for 38 years, scouting, staying in the same hotel, in the same room for 38 years.
Oh, my God.
Nice.
He likes his routine.
A little old hotel in Old Town, kind of off the beaten path. You don't even know it's a hotel. And he stays in there, and the hotel has had 9 name changes since he's been there. And the hotel's address has actually changed, but it never moved. They changed the street. They didn't change the hotel. So it's a great piece.
Does he get a
Gordy
decent
Lackey.
rate?
Well, he books it when he leaves. Like when he checks out on March 3rd, whenever he checks out next week, he'll book it for March 1st, April 1st next year. So,
Well, you
try
found
to-
what he likes.
Is
Yeah,
it a classy
he does.
joint?
Well, it's one of those old boutique-y type
Well,
of
that's
places.
classy.
I think. Ken,
Joe,
yeah,
this is
I
you.
think it is.
Oh, yeah.
This
I can
is
do that.
straight Joe Sucher.
So it smells like Ben Gay and
Yeah,
Broken
He's got purple.
Dreams.
Apparently, it has purple carpet and aqua painted walls,
Oh,
and just
man.
this gaudy Arizona, glitzy stuff. But it's.
Do you ever think that old baseball scout Pat has called the front desk for a 7 a.m. wake-up call at 7:30?
He said he's got his room is kind of in a funky location. He says he's never called room service because he doesn't think they could find it. Plus, he's a scout, and those guys are always looking to save a buck and then charge more. They get they get per diem, so they always want to save a buck.
Take a guess on his salary. I don't need to know the figure, but is it under 100, over 100, under 500?
Well, he's been at it long enough, and he's well regarded. I'm sure he's in the low hundreds probably. But most of them are making 50 probably.
You ever seen that
40.
Clint Eastwood movie, Trouble with the Curve?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Is it like that? Just those really cheesy flop house $39 a night joints?
Oh, a lot of them
that you
stay
park
there.
in front of your
there's
hotel
there's
room.
the famous story of who's the guy? I can't remember who the old scout was. He had a heart attack, and he's being put in the ambulance. Right?
Is that the guy who said, "Some bitch that hurt"?
No, that was Huey. Oh. But this guy's having a heart attack. He's getting put in his ambulance, and there's like 4 guys looking around him, and he says, "Somebody get the mileage." Because they're all charging mileage all the way. He says, I can't remember who it was, but somebody get the mileage.
Tell the Huey story again.
Oh, Huey's playing baseball, but he's working in the oil fields in the 1920s out in Oklahoma, and he's a great prospect. He hit like 380 in the minor leagues.
What was his last name?
And Huey Alexander.
Huey Alexander.
And he gets his hand caught in there. And one of the drills or something catches his hand and mashes his hand. And they're out in the middle of nowhere, and they drive 40 miles, and they finally find this, as he says, old Indian doctor.
Right.
And the Indian doctor says, all right, he has a bottle of whiskey, and he makes Huey drink it. Then he starts sawing the hand off.
Oh, my.
And Huey's line was, and damn, that hurt.
But that ended his baseball, obviously. And then he became a scout.
Became a legendary scout. He was the right-hand man of Paul Owens, who was running the Phillies, who they called the Pope because he looked like the Pope. Mm-hmm. But he's also the guy who called up one morning and told the team that a trade was off by saying, that trade don't count. The Pope was drunk.
But think about getting your hand cut off. Not only is that going to hurt, because no amount of whiskey is going to make that pain go away, but you have to hear the saw go through the bone.
A hand saw at that.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're not talking an electric saw.
No, I'm thinking it's one of those meat saws that the butchers use. Yeah, to cut T-bones.
Yeah, then slice that sucker.
Oh. Yeah, Huey was the greatest.
Anyway, I was trying to tell you the Wild had an interesting game. They were down 2-0, got the lead, and then lost it in overtime.
Gave up one in late in the last minute, huh?
Yeah.
Was the goalie pulled, or they had pulled the goalie?
Yeah. Kings did that with a man advantage, but it was a great game. They win. They got a point. They got the point. They're in good shape.
Well, Joe, I thought your summary was okay, but we had an on-site correspondent in the suite that later conveyed what happened to his younger brother at the breakfast table this morning.
All right.
The Kings got 1 point, then they got 2 points before the Wild. Then the Wild got 1 point, then they got 2 points, then the Wild got 3.
Yep.
And then the Kings, they snuck the puck in there and they won.
Boom. Analysis.
Yeah, it was pretty darn good.
Why are we allowing that on the
Excellent.
It was my kid.
My house sports talk has changed, fellas. My house sports talk
We'll be back
changed.
in just a moment. Let Kenny settle down. And now,
no kids!
Thanks to our
Stop calling and asking, you little brat!
Thanks to our good friends in
God, I
Owatonna,
hate
Minnesota,
kids.
at Federated Insurance, where it's their business to protect your business, and nobody does that better than Federated. It's Bruce Vail from the Wall Street Journal and Your Money Now.
Well, Kenny, you can always follow his blog. I'm sure it'll be on there as well. Stocks were higher at today's market close. The market did recover a bit of Monday's steep losses. The Dow Jones Industrial Average snuck back into positive territory for the year, just barely, gaining 116 points. The Nasdaq Composite rose 20 points. The S&P 500 gained 4. Students who were defrauded by Corinthian colleges are claiming in court that the Education Department has illegally obtained and used their earnings data in order to limit their student loan relief. Former Corinthian students are making that claim in a motion filed in federal court in California. This week's pedestrian fatality involving a self-driving car is likely to complicate efforts in Congress to speed the vehicle's development by wiping away state safety regulations. The House last fall passed legislation that would preempt regulations that some states have sought to impose on the driverless car industry. But even before the pedestrian was struck Sunday, some senators had reservations about the bill, saying they were concerned it didn't guarantee sufficient protection for drivers, passengers, and pedestrians. I'm Bruce Vail with your Money Now on 1500 ESPN.
Okay, Bruce, thank you very much. We're going to let you go check traffic here, although I don't know why. There's really nothing going on. This report sponsored by Concordia University Online Learning. 94 between the downtowns. Doesn't matter which way you're going. You're looking at 11, 12 minutes. Northbound 35W, yeah, it's trying to fill up and slow down between 88 and 694, but it's still tolerable. Stay the course there. Southbound W, of course, flying between downtown and the Burnsville split. Get on track to a successful business career with The plan was to come back with those Royce cuts from the old Monday Night Sports Talk days, but yeah.
And so while Rookie was frantically looking for the CD and Kenny was sitting on his ASS shouting out instructions, that's what happened.
Yeah. It's always my favorite part of the day. How about you, John?
No tension in the room, isn't there?
There's no tension.
Let's go here.
Was that
real or was that
real?
Yeah, was that real or was that you?
I was just I was just sitting here watching the Crows. I'm fine. I am not reading this cornball crap.
Do you have the one in there, Such, of him going off on the kids? That's the one we're looking for. Look, kid, go do your homework or whatever he said.
We're waiting for this thing. There we go.
I'm going to come over there and flick your ear, you little brat.
There's one. Yeah, there's one of them.
You ever seen a grown man naked? Whoa. You ever seen a grown...
That's not one,
No. I think, Johnny, you should tell us about the Don.
It's cloudy.
Everybody's on their way.
Like rented meals, huh?
Everybody here is on their way to a press conference.
Yeah, I have one is, why does Bud Grant wear brown pants with a purple shirt?
Drugs, I think.
Okay, well, I have another question. Why?
Go do your homework, you little creep.
That's Souchere. Whoopsie.
Here we go.
I was blaming Royce.
You're on SportsTalk.
Yeah. Call in.
What are you calling for, kid? We don't talk to kids. See you later. You're on.
Yeah, what is the outcome on Donnie Beaupre's suspension?
He was not suspended the second time. See you later.
Oh, do you think he'll be suspended?
No, he didn't.
Traded?
Where have you been, kid? Pay attention, kid. Don't call up and ask us these nonsensical questions.
I mean, you know...
Get rid of him. Goodbye. Get rid of him. You're on. I hate kids.
Come a long way.
Back when this show used to mean something.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but you can see, Kenny, we haven't had a call from a kid in 30 years, so we got rid of him.
Oh, my God. It's cloudy and 31. Long time Gopher
Reuvers, that's what you need to do since your kid has a Jones to get on the air. Have him call the enemy sports station all day, every day.
Long time. You want to hear my wild analysis? Longtime Gopher men's hockey head coach and two-time national title winner Don Lucia will not be back behind the bench next year for the Gophers. The U holding a press conference in about an hour, 4:30 this afternoon. You'll hear it right here on 1500 ESPN. Our TV affiliate 5 Eyewitness News reporting that Lucia will remain with the school as a special assistant to athletic director Mark Coyle through June of 2019. Gophers missed the NCAA tournament this season under Lucia. Last title came in 2003.
So when you run off a coach and you owe him $500,000, you make him a special assistant. Correct. Right? Okay. The Wooger got that job, but Wooger was a fundraiser for a long time over there. So remember when the Don, Joe, we started having we used to have the Gopher hockey show on Saturdays with the Wooger? Mm-hmm. And then we had the Don for a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it lost the vibe, didn't it? He took things a little more seriously than the Wooger did.
Well, it was all in the theme. I mean, remember the Wooger theme? We had some fun times. It sounded like Stormy Daniels' porno music is what it sounded like. And we would get up and dance and we smack some rear end, and it was a little festive.
Yes.
But what you guys need to also remember is you were not only testy with some of the young kids, you also would upset an old timer as well.
Arnie.
Pat.
Yes, Arnie.
Pat.
Yes, Arnie.
I spent some time with the Nicola Ballpark with the Millers in 1920s.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah?
And they talk about, about the pitcher today pitching 112 pitches to yank them out.
Yeah.
Now, you can look this up, Pat, but I was down there in the 20s when Ray Starr pitched a doubleheader against the Columbus Redbirds on a Sunday afternoon.
I remember
Pitched
it well.
both games and won both games. Now, you can look this up. I spent a long time down there at Nicola Ballpark. I'm about 10 years older than our good friend Sid Hartman. He knows it all.
So you're 110.
Not quite, but I'm about 10 years older. I got to know a lot of the Minneapolis Millers. I spent a lot of time down there, shook hands with a lot of them. I used to pitch pennies with Ernie Orsatti.
Arnie.
Yes.
Why are you telling us these things?
What?
Why are you telling us these things? Are we going to get to the moral of the story?
Well, I mean, I thought maybe you'd be interested in the guy pitching the doubleheader.
Okay. In
with the rubber arm,
1920.
And I don't know whether you're interested in the 1920 Millers, how good they were.
No, I'm not, Arnie, but God bless you. I'm glad you're still hanging in there so you can take that memory with you. Thank you.
Oh, you're a bunch of
It wasn't even worth hitting the button, was it? I think you better cart that.
Oh, my gosh.
Royce, that was
how fast. Probably the late, great Arnie turned.
What's the point, Arnie?
You could hear Royce is irritated by this 10 minutes before the end of it. You can hear him in the background going,
Arnie, why are you telling us this?
The only thing that would have made that better, Pat, is when you would have said, "What is the moral of that story?" And he had said, "Don't mess with Uncle Terry when he's been drinking."
News notes from today.
How many pitches are you throwing if you pitch both games? You're like 300-400.
Well, back then, probably 80 a game. The guys swung the bats.
A lot, though. But, yeah, you're probably still getting close to 200.
Why are we still talking about Arnie's story?
I do, too.
Oh, my God.
Let's get on to the cop here.
Right.
Let's get on to the cop here. Let's get on to the cop charged with murder here.
News notes from today at 3:38. Minneapolis police officer Mohammed Noor charged today with third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter in the fatal shooting of Justine Demond last July. Noor turned himself in late this morning, being held at the Hennepin County Jail on $500,000 bail. If convicted of third-degree murder, he could face a maximum of 25 years in prison. A second-degree manslaughter charge carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. According to the complaint filed against him, prosecutors say at the time of the shooting, the officer neither investigated nor confirmed a threat that justified the decision to use deadly force. The complaint also says Noor recklessly fired his handgun when he shot Demond, leaving her with her hands on a gunshot wound to the left side of her abdomen while she said, "I'm dying" or "I'm dead." Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman said to lose a family member to violence is always wrenching and painful, but to lose one when she was acting as a concerned and caring citizen at the hands of a person she had called for help is inexplicable. Another explosion in Texas this morning.
Do we know what happened behind the scenes after the night in question and today? Because I'm seeing and hearing all sorts of stuff about Minneapolis police not cooperating.
That was what Freeman was
hearing
saying.
The partner turned on him, but then I'm hearing other people say the partner was trying to protect him. Does anybody have the truth?
Well, reading the partner's statement there, it's not. It's he did not turn on him, and I don't think when you read it.
The partners said in the statement that they heard something. I believe he called it an odd sound or something like that, and the shooting happened shortly after that. So. Another explosion in Texas this morning, this time inside a FedEx Corporation facility outside San Antonio. The latest bomb went off early this morning, shortly after midnight. It follows those explosions, of course, in Austin, Texas. FBI spokeswoman in San Antonio said the latest blast could be linked. She said it's something we definitely suspect, but we won't know until we've had a chance to evaluate all the evidence.
Let's find this guy.
State Fair sneaking up quickly. Another concert announced today, this one for the last day of the fair, Labor Day. Boy George and his band Culture Club will hit the fair grandstand.
Is he still around? Is he still around?
He'll tumble for you.
Grandstand? Joined by two other MTV-era pop acts, the B-52s and Thompson Twins singer Tom Bailey.
They won't have 2,000 people for that turkey.
I will bet
I bet you it sells out.
I'm with John.
Guarantee
I don't think
it.
the B-52s fit on that lineup, do they?
I don't think so
I don't
either.
compare the B-52s to either one of those bands.
I would agree with Kenny on that one, but I bet it sells out.
I'm with John.
Is that Labor Day night?
Correct, yes. Yep.
Oh, hell, that'll sell more than they got.
The old Liberace act doesn't look as good when you're 60, like Boy George, as it did when he was 30.
Why, are you thinking of a career change?
He looks like he'd look like a face like a catcher's mitt now, for God's sake.
This is Mary Had a Little Lamb. Ding, 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 ding.
This gig comes midway through a 3-month tour by those three acts. So,
really?
Yeah. They'll be out on the road a
if
lot.
anybody goes to watch Culture Club, please don't ever speak to me. Okay?
Wow.
I don't want anything to do. You go watch PJ Fleck play football, will you? And leave me alone. Okay, this is already pick on Pat Day, but I got to tell you something.
Wait, we want to listen to this stirring number first.
Is that Boy George?
Yeah.
It is the height of his career.
Yeah.
He's singing right to Patrick.
I find it odd that it's not striking a nerve with Pat here that he won't be at that show. I don't get it.
So I finished the Diet Coke, and I went to throw it in a little wastebasket here behind me. And it bounced out, and I couldn't see it. So I thought it went under this big, heavy chair.
Oh, no.
So I picked it up. I don't like leaving that bottle.
Well, you have a conscience.
So I picked it up, and then I reached for the bottle and dropped the chair on my foot. And I got these thin summer shoes on down here, and I might have broke a toe just now.
I'm glad
Why don't you film
You know
these
what?
things?
You should sue CCO. That's what you should do. It's their fault.
Isn't this your second foot-related incident in Fort Myers? Didn't you and Coles have when you guys were doing the show down there?
Oh, that was the one when I got some kind of a disease. I had a pair of sandals that cut kind of the back of my shoe and foot, and then some of the
that was
diseases that are available down here got in, and I woke up in the morning, my foot was like 2.5 times the size it was supposed to be.
Yeah, just oozing pus and gross. And Such, I need your help. We were reminiscing off the air during that break about a B-52 show that was 1990, January 26, 1990 at the Northrop. Who would they have toured with? There was 2 acts that night, and it was a raucous show. The balcony was shaking, plaster was falling, and for the life of
Georgia Satellites?
No, that's not a bad guess, but no. We better open up the phone lines. Reuvers, take some calls. Take some calls off the air, Reuvers.
An Austrian man faces a €160 fine, that's about $197, for describing police officers as Smurfs in a warning about speed traps posted on Facebook. The Austria press agency reported that authorities in Tyrol province imposed the fine on the man, whose name wasn't released. The charge? Violating public decency by defaming 2 police officers.
Really? They got strict rules over there, huh?
The man's post in a Facebook group alerted others to 2 Smurfs standing with lasers on a local highway. A local Tiroler Tageszeitung newspaper reported that the man maintains the term Smurfs was meant as a harmless joke, not an insult. He said he'll plan to defend himself and not pay the fine at regional police headquarters.
I got a question for you, Johnny. Why can't you insult the police if you just do it, if you're not doing it to their face?
I'm not familiar with Austrian law, I confess.
Yeah,
Something
a little strict. This isn't left over from the Führer, is it? When he was running the place?
I hope not. In China, this is a tough one.
Here we go.
A power company manager accidentally broadcast himself having fun, shall we say, with a junior colleague when he forgot to hang up after a video conference call.
Oh, fantastic.
Right. Based on WeChat.
Who are the people that stayed on the line?
Right. I saw some clips from it, not clips, but pictures. And
Hold on, this is getting good.
It was. Based on WeChat conversations.
What do you mean by
the manager, well, they were, you know.
How'd they look?
Canning apricots?
They were canning apricots, that's correct. The manager of China's Southern Power Grid filmed himself having sex with his colleague in a conference room on the table just minutes after a call earlier that morning that was attended by employees from 5 different provinces. After the meeting was adjourned for a break, the manager decided to make use of the now empty conference room. Apparently, the footage first leaked on Saturday, but it's now been scrubbed from social media by Chinese censors. 2 employees, of course, this is China, so they were arrested. They face charges for that, as well as further punishment for spreading false rumors after they allegedly shared the footage. The phrases Southern Power Grid and use love to make power have become 2 of the most blocked terms on social media site Weibo in China after the incident.
What were they accused of? What? False what?
False, well, this was 2 other people, 2 other employees, because they spread the
I
video.
see, okay.
The only man was accused of false forecasts, and we don't know anything.
The only thing we care about is the footage available?
I
can we see it?
just saw
YouTube, maybe?
pictures, Kenny, and they blotted out the important part, shall we say. But you could certainly see what they were doing.
Like the conference phone number?
Yeah, exactly.
So like when we were all in junior high, that type of stuff we would watch. You know, with the blacked out screen. Oh wait, I see what
that
looks like a boob.
When I was in junior high, we had 1 television station, so we didn't do that. No.
Fathers.
Is that the one that had the blurred lines?
Yes.
Where you were,
in one
hand you had the V-hold, and you were trying to straighten that sucker out. And I think they're at the dentist's office. I'm not sure.
Occasionally you saw a knee that looked like a bosom. And that was enough. Pause.
And then you heard somebody walking upstairs with a couple of uncomfortable moments of silence.
Father's
Maybe
ashes.
that was just me.
Right.
What are you doing down there, Matthew? Sleepwalking, Dad. He's got the arms out in front of him.
Practicing voices.
What was the name of the cat that Grandpa had?
Grayson.
He says, I'm down here with Rook and say, I'm down here with Grayson.
I'm down here petting Grayson.
As Grayson is rubbing up against the calf of whoever's calling for.
In Great Britain.
You ready, Grayson?
Wow. And then everything was saved by the flag would come on and play the Star Spangled
Exactly.
Yeah, like it should happen every time.
In Great Britain, a father's ashes have been placed in a model railway coal wagon so it can be trundled around the miniature railway that the man spent 40 years creating.
Well, that's just sad.
That's nice.
Really?
I thought it was a sweet story, actually.
Yeah.
It's Peter Hurst. He's the fellow that passed away.
It's Grandpa again.
It's pathetic.
His son.
It's just pathetic.
There we go.
Let's go ahead and watch Grandpa.
Let's watch him go around a circle here.
Gather round, gather round.
Hey, let's stop at this station, see if he gets on or off.
Peter's sons, 53-year-old Simon and 58-year-old Paul, thought
Hey,
it would
let's
be
smoke Grandpa.
Thought it would be a
any
fitting
papers?
tribute. Their dad died of dementia in January at the age of 88.
Probably drove himself nuts building his train.
Yeah, no wonder. He spent 40 years perfecting the mini railway in his attic, complete with paper mache hills and an entire village.
Anything to get away from the wife.
Right. I'll be in the attic working on the train.
That's right. He married Betty in 1956, Kenny. That's when he started building a prototype of the railway at his home in Essex, but it really took off in 1972 when he moved to Leeds. Eventually, the granddad of 3 had 40 locomotives, 50 coaches, 50 trucks, 10 guard vans, and an entire city built.
That's fantastic, John.
Why in God's name are you telling us this?
Well, as your time in Florida is coming to an end.
Yes.
What do you have in mind today?
The Don. A lot of talk about the Don, and they're going to be a press conference at 4:30. It'll be late, as they all are, but we'll run a little bit of that and hear what he has to say. And Jess Myers is going to talk to us about it right after the top of the hour. He and Don have been tight here for years, and he's over at the press conference, so we'll get his thoughts right at the top of the hour.
Did Don succeed the Wooger?
Yes, yeah, he did, and won 2 national championships. He was there 19 years, so I think he won it in the either his 3rd and 4th years or his 4th and 5th years. He won back-to-back, and got in the finals only about 4 years ago, but got beat by Union, of all people, and he's getting a lot of heat about the last couple of years. I think the thing that did him in, though, was attendance more than wins and losses.
Yeah, it's really fallen, hasn't it?
Yeah, they don't come close to drawing like they used to.
1500 ESPN is KSTP St. Paul, Minneapolis. 28 degrees. A tough first day of summer for a 21ster. The ride is coming up next.
Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. It's crazy to think that a few weeks ago we were talking about whether or not Tua Tagovailoa should consider retiring. After 2 concussions and worldwide debates on player safety and NFL culpability, Tua has done nothing but go back to work and currently has the Dolphins riding a 3-game win streak and 1 loss behind the division favorite Buffalo Bills. While everyone was yapping about the end of his career, Tua Tagovailoa said he'll decide when it's time. And clearly, he's not ready to hang up the cleats. Hi, this is Chris Howard from the Plugged In with Chris Howard podcast. BetOnline.net is your #1 source for betting football and the start of the new basketball season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting, up-to-the-minute scores for the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including the MLB playoffs, the start of the NHL season, MMA, boxing, and golf. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts.